extensive research and really try to attract these business owners to come talk to us. That was the whole goal. It's like if I sent a video out, whatever company it was, be it a digital marketing agency, which in most case it was. And let me take a step back. Why do you think it was important for us to look at our Ultra 100 list and say, hey, digital marketing is one of the industries that fits on that list? I want to take a look and see who's following here. Digital marketing as a category that's on our list.
See, Peter says shared values, leverage Kingpin.
Yes.
Adam says perfect refer for both services.
Mm-hmm.
Share the same customer target.
That's right. I think you guys are getting it. So shared values, maybe not as much initially. I mean, we definitely looked at the idea that, hey, you know what, digital marketing agencies were looking for either to sell their services, which, you know, theoretically are higher ticket items that we could close for, and at the same time, digital marketing agencies work, you know, very often with copywriters, and they need teams, or if not individuals, to really write good copy for their clients, right? So this is definitely more of a Kingpin, a one-to-many. If we get a good agency working with us, that we could pull in additional target clients for our business. Does that make sense? So you'll see I just posted 6. Of course, there's many more here. You'll see it ranges from digital marketing, specifically for medicine. We have for real estate. We have general digital marketing agencies, as well as even SEO companies that we tried to loop in and get them to close, or at least for us to close services with them. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, maybe I'll just go through this list for you first. The reason why video prospecting is great, and why we found it so effective, and I want to bring Adam in just for a moment here, but from my perspective, video prospecting at its core is research driven, right? You can't make a good video without actually having it customized with the information you need to talk to that client, right? You can slough off an email and just change a couple paragraphs in there, right? Keep the rest the same, use a template, and send it over to somebody. But you can't really put out a good video if you don't do heavy research. You guys follow me here? But, there's a big but. Once you figure out the pattern of how to research, what to leverage, what pieces go into the video, it becomes repeatable. And that's the cool part. Okay,
Chandler asks,
yeah.
Does a video editing part matter?
Yes, it does. We'll talk a little bit about that. I want to, if Adam is still available here. Adam, are you still up?
Yes, I am.
Can you share with us, and because I know you've done so much of this, share with us a little bit about your experience about like how much research goes into making a video, at least in the beginning, and then over time, does it get better, or did it get better for you?
So in the beginning, I would say I was extremely close to the 1.5 hours that you mentioned. And over time then, together with the German community, I figured out a way to make it faster. So we actually built a research department, where a few of the closest were doing nothing else but researching. And so therefore they were feeding me the info, and we had a framework. So we were going through all of the social media in a certain order. And then we were like researching every single presence that the person could have had. And then some people were going through the funnels and listening to the webinars, giving an excerpt of that. We were going through like all the social media posts. We were reading the different comments under certain posts to see like what is the voice of the client target audience and what is their voice, how do they react? And so I was focusing on that and then copying the voice of the influencer or the person that we targeted to speak in their voice. And as soon as I was talking about their clients, I was switching my tone of voice so they see that we understand how they speak. And this is a very subtle thing like high level later on. And it got us great returns. They were like, hey, wow, that's a great video. Thank you so much. Like they liked it very much. And even some of them were not ready to do business with Closers.com. They really appreciated the effort because they could clearly see it. And later down when we were splitting the efforts, I think the research time went down to like half an hour to an hour. But if you do it yourself in the beginning, there is no too long because you want to get a feel for it and find all of the pitfalls. For example, I can share an example where the research really paid off. We almost would have gotten a scammer in, but because of the intense research that we did, we noticed it. For example, there was a guy, he was very prolific with YouTube ads. He was like, yeah, and I help you like make 5 figures a month and I help you so much, and blah, blah, blah. And that was like a wave of German influencers that were all promising you that. They all had the same type of ad. And we noticed that because we did so much research. And so we looked the guy up and we did find a website. But at the same time, we looked at the impressum, especially guys in Europe. Look at the impressum. Everybody has to have it in Europe, and it's so important. And we looked at it, and according to his impressum, there was just a wall of text. But in reality, it wasn't a real legal text. So we could see that he wasn't a real company, actually. And then we were looking it up even more because on his homepage, he said, he is known from YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Apple Music, and whatever, like all the services. And then we researched all of it. No LinkedIn.
That's huge. That's huge. And
Yeah.
can you guys imagine, like, if we didn't, if Adam did not put together that team and take the time to research on that company, how much time would have been wasted if he went forward in the process of talking to that company?
Yeah, hours on end. And for the guys who don't know what an impressum is, it's basically all the information about the company, where it's located, who is the person who is responsible, who is the CEO, who is responsible for the technology, who is responsible for the privacy, and so on. It's really useful. So therefore, we researched that. We found that he has no YouTube channel. Like he has a channel, but with 3 videos, and they are dead since like 3 years. He has no podcasts. He has nothing on Apple Music or anywhere. And his Instagram consisted of 3 posts, of which of one, the last one at the time when we researched it was, congratulations from his mentor to making the first 5 figures a month. And at the time where we looked at it, it was like 3 months ago. No, sorry, 3 weeks ago. So he is marketing that he teaches others to make 5 figures since months, but he never hit that number himself. And we found it out, and we even called him. Like we called him, and like we all were on a call together, and we called the guy, and he was like, we were like, dude, you say you are known from YouTube, but we don't see on YouTube. Oh yeah, you don't need to be on YouTube to say you can be known from YouTube. Like, yeah, dude, you also have no testimonials, and yeah, you don't need testimonials to sell. Like, it's perfectly fine. Like, I have so many clients. Yeah, sure, dude, you made 5 figures like 3 weeks ago, and then suddenly he stopped talking.
Let me ask you this, Adam, too. Like when you went through that process, and I'm sure a couple of us here are wondering, is how do you know when a client is quote unquote video worthy?
I would say I have a very, very clear framework in my mind. Very, very clear. And I test, like in the research process, I check out if what they do works, like the same framework that you just talked about. I focus on, can we work with the person on the first glance? If they pass the first glance, we do the research. Then when the research checks out, we go to the 3rd level where we like go really deep and check like the back end if possible, as much as possible. When that checks out, then I would say it's video worthy. Yeah.
No, that's a great process. And in my opinion too, from my experience, it's once you go through the initial, everybody here has their own framework for the initial check, right? If they are worthy of doing business and they make it to your list, I think everybody, if you truly believe and you're a purist around videos, which I was at the time, everybody who looked like a valid lead, a hot lead, would get a video. Because if they were that good of a lead, if they were that good of a prospect, why wouldn't I accelerate my chances? of trying to get them to notice me, right? Why wouldn't I send that out as long as I had the research and the process behind it to make the video?
Yeah, that makes sense. And later on, like you can also save time when you become faster with the research. What you can do, but again, like be very, very careful, or try to get closer. It is very, very important that you first go through the full procedure hundreds of times until you really got it down. Otherwise, you cannot do the next step. Next step would be to have a list, and you will become way faster because once you have like the framework, you just check it out very quickly and you are very used to it. You see the signs like immediately. And from there, you can do a fake audit. Be very careful with this. You have to be still able to provide very personalized emails so they see it's not a cold call or a cold outreach. The fake audit looks like it's a real video, but when you click on it, it's basically, it's a dead picture. It doesn't really work. And this way you can test, and this only works with prospects that already are super, super qualified, and you know they will be responsive. You do enough research on them to formulate a very personalized email where they feel you did put in effort, but you still save the time for the video. And when you basically send them the fake audit, said, hey, I made a video for you, and where do I send this best? And when you use this kind of wording, even if they click on the audit and it doesn't work, they might think, oh, he probably just used it to give us an idea of how it looks like. Now we tell him where he should send it. There are some apps that can do that. Like they can do a fake audit and put it like from their homepage and draw it, and it looks like you really recorded a video. And when they respond to you, say, hey, oh yeah, sure, we'd love to see the video, then you make it.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of
that saves you a ton of time.
you've made almost, Adam, you've created almost like a funnel process for these guys,
Yeah,
right?
it's
With
true.
the video at the second stage. That's great.
Mhm.
I love that. Thank you so much. I want you guys to give Adam a round of applause because Adam truly has put in his hours to really refine his process, and to have him on the call and share in such great detail too. Like, we're very, very grateful, Adam. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me, Rich. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So here's a quick here's a quick example. I want to show you the actual video, so I may click out of this in a second. But here's a screenshot of me with my short hair. I did this was after maybe 3-4 weeks of practice. Just to give you a time frame, like when you guys actually watch and listen to this will be a 3.5, actually 4-minute video. I'll let you guys watch it from start to finish. The context is, you guys can look these guys up. They are a credit card processor consulting company. They have a high ticket offer. They have a very, very loyal audience base. I did the research. I actually even connected with the top sales guy there before actually reaching out to the business owner with this video. So what I want you guys to do when I play this video is break your notebooks out. And I want you to kind of, when you see something that's interesting or something that stood out, I want you guys to make a little note on the notebook. Once we finish the video once over, we'll kind of take a pause and we'll kind of go through and see what everybody noticed about this video as one version of the outreach that I sent. Is that cool? Yeah, Bo recognizes that company. This was, by the way, this was a company that did respond. It was one of the first ones that gave us a positive closing conversation. Later on, because of the product that was changing, they were actually going through an upgrade, trying to get their high ticket offer even higher ticket, and then eventually the deal did fall through. But it was because of this video that the business owner wrote directly back to me, literally the same day, saying, "Hey, I saw your video. Most people don't do something like this. It was just nice to see somebody talking in person and that kind of thing." So let me play this for you guys so you can see what the guy actually saw. So let me stop share here for a second. And I'll have to come out of full screen, Donna.
Okay.
Let's do share computer sound. Oh, look at that. There we are. Everybody see this? Okay. I'll put this in theater mode. Looks like it's not. Let me just refresh. Here we go.
All right. Hey there, James. You don't know me. I've had some really great conversations.
Can you guys hear that, by the way? Is it loud and clear?
I can hear it. Let's see in the
Perfect.
chat. Yes.
Let's go from the beginning here. All right, break your notebooks out. See what you notice about this video. Good, bad, strange, whatever.
All right. Hey there, James. You don't know me. I've had some really great conversations with Ryan about the great progress CC Sales Pro has made this year. My name is Rich J, and I want to help CC Sales Pro create even more revenues in the coming years. Now, I wanted to take a moment and say that I've done some research on credit card processing coaches online, and that hands down, there is no one that is delivering as much value as you are in this market. So it's really great to see that positioning you've got, as well as the value you're delivering to all of your customers. Now, as I think about this, in a previous life, I was in retail restaurants for many years, and we were constantly being pitched by processors and other services that wanted to get our business. So, James, I know that this market niche is huge and it's not going away anytime soon. Now, I work with Dan Locke and Closers.com, and we really help companies who have leads already coming in close more deals. And we do this by plugging your company in with some of our top closers. And just to be clear, for this video, it's really valuable for anyone in your company to watch. It could be decision makers. Please forward to Ryan, by the way. Any other business partners, salespeople, managers, everyone can get value from this because from what I can see, you've got a team who really wants to help you with your goals, right? So now we have trained thousands of certified closers now, and we've helped plug companies into our team to get more revenue in the door each month. And some of the ways that we do this are by keeping the minimum KPIs on the closers, helping you get more deals, and we'll swap out anything that's not meeting your requirements. And we're able to do this without bugging you or slowing down your operations. So we built out processes that attract, that develop, and retain only the best closing talent. It's really a great systems approach that we've optimized over the years. And again, you don't have to worry about the training either. We handle all of that. Now, by the way, this doesn't have to be for the 6-week Jumpstart program. It can be for any of your high-value offers for your community, ones that you're offering now, and ones that are coming down the pipeline. Oh, and also, we'll continue to add value by providing scripts for follow-up emails and after leads come in to increase the appointment show rates, which will really help us close more deals for you. And James, one great action you can take right away if you already have a sales team, and I know Ryan is a pivotal part of that, is to stop closing people online through your webinars and sales pages and to start closing with physical closers. And why do I say that? Well, when Dan Locke did this, we went from a mere 8% conversion to 28% of our leads closing, which was massive for our bottom line. So long story short, as long as you have leads coming into CC Sales Pro and want to close more deals while avoiding the headaches of additional operations time, building out a team of well-trained closers that are accountable, we can help. Now, our intention for making this video, James, is to get on a call together and help CC Sales Pro make more revenue with our closers. So if you're interested, my cell number and email are in the description of this video. My email is rich, the letter J, at closers.com, and my cell number is 352-815-3866. Now, we don't send these out to just any random company either. We are convicted that this will help your company based off of what we've been able to research online about you, James, and your coaching programs, and we're really excited to help. So bye for now. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching this.
All right. What'd you guys think? It was okay, right? It probably wasn't my top video, but it was one of the earlier. I just want to let you see kind of the early stage. Like if you're working on this for a long time, maybe giving a couple hours a day for 3 or 4 weeks, this is probably one stage you could look forward to. You could be much further ahead. I mean, it's what I want to ask you guys as ultra high ticket prospectors is, are you comfortable with putting in the effort to get to doing something like this? Are you excited? Because at the time I was nervous. I was super nervous about something like this. And then later on, I became more and more excited about it. Okay, so let's critique this really quickly, just based off of what you know. What did you like about the video? It's 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Bogdan says, good structure, detached but warm, communicative and in flow, not perfectionist, very good approach, and genuine excitement.
Cool.
Aiden says, great progression, telling the story here, starting from some personalized compliments on their product to lightly speaking on the value offering for Closer.com, aka the YIIFM. You're not stopping at something high level though, bringing in concrete data and numbers to show that we've done that homework. You also leverage the video to show and not tell, letting the numbers speak for themselves.
Very, very cool. How many of you could tell that I was, in parts of the video, I was still kind of scripted and nervous? Chandler says yes, a bit. You could tell, right? There are pieces there that not just didn't really flow, a little awkward. Yeah. So it's very, very real, right? So the idea is that, you know, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect at doing this. Some people are a lot better. I think extroverts typically a little bit better at doing something like this, and you could certainly, you know, gravitate to more advanced, better performances over a shorter period of time. But over time, if you put in the hours and you're actually doing this through a scripted, structured way, you definitely can get to a level where it seems natural and you're not reading off of a script. Now, how many of you guys thought I was reading off of a script?
See a lot of no's.
Not really. How many? I'm just curious because I never polled anybody about this. But how many of you thought that in parts of that video I was still trying to search for? I was trying to reach for some words from the script that I forgot. Yes, Sean, you're absolutely right. The tabs are my script. I was reaching in parts of it. And the reason why I want to tell you guys this is because this is raw. This is real. As you put together, this is a production. Think of it as like a short movie, right? You don't want to underestimate the amount of hours. Raphael's here on the chat. Raphael also put in a ton of hours as well. You may get to see some of his videos when we upload those to Kajabi for you guys, as well as maybe some of Adam's. But we put in a ton of hours because this is not a natural activity that we did before. It was very, very unnatural in the beginning, right? I will tell you that the answer to my question just now is I was absolutely reading off of a script the entire time of the video. Do you believe it? You don't believe it? Then I'll have to tell you the secret of how that works, won't I? It's kind of funny. Okay. I'll reveal some secrets now, and then we'll go through the actual script, and then you'll see kind of the parts where it's coming in and out. Okay. So the first thing is you'll notice, you guys put up your hand if you notice this, says, sometimes the screen was moving, but my hands were moving in front of the camera. So who the hell is controlling the mouse? Did you guys see that? Right? So you guys notice, like, well, who's controlling the mouse as I'm speaking? The reality is, to make this a production, just like Adam said, you have to break it down into parts. So first thing, and we won't go too much into video production. We actually want to talk more about the script and the messaging, which is the most important. You guys can always come back and look at the way that this was designed. But I think the script is important because the mindset behind it drives the actual engagement of the person watching. Okay, I'll say that again. The mindset behind the script drives the engagement of the person watching. But here is the idea. You record a video separate. Okay, then you do a screen recording to match yourself while you're playing the video back. Does that make sense now? But don't do it like me. Don't flail your hands in front of the camera. Okay, because it could just kind of looks weird. Okay, so you're recording the video with a script. It's going to be in front of the camera, very close to where the camera is on your laptop or on your monitor. So it looks like you're looking into the camera wherever possible. Okay, the script will be there. And then by the time you finish that, you'll set that aside. Then you get all of your tabs ready. And we have a specific way that we're presenting the script. So we've got the tabs ready from left to right. You can see them up at the top here, right? We've got the company. We've got some of the videos from the company. We've got Sifu's the pages, his Instagram. Then we go into this is exactly the progression of the script, pretty much from left to right. Does that make sense? Let me take a second here. How did Rich move the video without his hands? Jonathan Franks. Yeah. So that's the secret behind that, is to keep it separate. And I will confirm with Adam that it probably took me an hour to 2 hours of research before even lining up things for the video. I would do the research, because without the research, can you write the script? Not really, right? Without the research, do you know which parts of the website to go to? No, not really, right? Without the research, do you know where to put specific mentions of people and, you know, who you know and things like that? You won't. So you have to do the research first, then you go into the script, second piece, and then you go into recording. And then you do your editing afterwards. Okay, so I put about, in the beginning, it was like 2 hours of research, figure out what I wanted to say. Then it would, for recording, may take like 30, 45 minutes to record the actual video, plus the screen recording, just to get it right, the timing's right. And then I would use a piece of software. There's tons of software out there that does this, but the one I used was Camtasia. Some of you guys may have used Camtasia, but you can use any kind of simple video editing software. And you'll see, you guys remember where the boxes were going left and right? Why was it important that I moved my little video from left to right, up and down? Let's see if you guys paid attention to that. Not to block things. Yeah, that's right, Joel. I don't want to block what I'm talking about. This is key, guys. When you get to making your videos, you need to move the box at least once every, I don't know, 45 seconds to a minute, at least, because it gets too boring. Okay, if there's nothing flying around on the screen, like, people will end up closing it. It's just not, it's not as engaging. So you're absolutely right about engagement, Mohammed. And you can do that with Camtasia. It's very easy. All right, let's fly back to the slides real quick, and let's go over what's happening here. And let me see if I can go, let's go full screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All good? All right. So let's talk about anatomy of what's going on in there. And some of you, actually, I forget who it was that just listed the bullet points of all the different pieces of the message. Thank you. That was very, very, you guys go back and scroll up and take a look at that. That was very, very, pretty much exactly what I'm saying here. So first we start out with an intro, and somebody had mentioned that I had a pattern interrupt when I did that. Yes, there is a bit of a pattern interrupt, and you have to, right? Otherwise, if what you're saying, you're not interrupting, then high likelihood of them just clicking out, right? The second thing I did was I stated my purpose up front. Right? How many of you guys remember? I said why I was contacting them. And then was there rapport built in the very beginning? Some rapport, right? And how we're going to refer back to the original part 1 from 2 weeks ago. What did I do to pull in rapport with this business owner? Not just the research. Daniel got it. So Diego's taking notes. Mention Ryan. Ryan is the top sales guy. So immediately within the first 30 seconds, you could see that I used Ryan's name. Okay. So as soon as, let's say if I sent a video message to you guys and I said, hey, so-and-so told me about you guys. I love what you're doing. I was talking to so-and-so the other day. And like, if I start talking to you like that, immediately that relationship builds a connection. So if you have one of those, sometimes we don't, but if you have one of those, use it. Don't waste it, right? Don't waste it. Third is very high level, like how do we do what we do, right? We're closers.com. How do we do what we do? How do we have top 1%? Like how are we able to keep those people, right? We had the whole closing ratio spreadsheet, if you guys remember, right? And I also casually mentioned, hey, I'm talking to you, but actually this message could be for anybody in your group. Send it on to Ryan, send it on to your delivery people, whoever you want, right? Because everybody in your company should be excited about what we're about to tell you. You see the mindset there? I'm so excited. I'm professionally, from a tone perspective, professionally excited about my message. But I want everybody in your company to hear about it because it's going to elevate your company 100%, 1000%. That's my conviction. Yeah, your dog, your cat, your children, the janitor, absolutely. Because everybody on your team wants your company to succeed, right? So I had to mention that. So remember, this is one framework to do, and it's gotten a lot of results. I would say at a clip, this type of a video, even when Jeremy was using it, would get up to 20 to 25% conversion on just setting up an appointment, 1 out of 4. Okay. So if you had a list of 16 leads and you did the research and you recorded these videos, would you be happy if 4 of them came back to you excited and wanted to talk to you? Yeah, absolutely. Geez, if they're on my Ultra 100 list, and then if I could get them to respond to me and say, hey, that was a cool video. Can you tell me more? Heck yeah, I'm going to put in that extra 2 or 3 hours. Because otherwise, look at the alternative, guys, right? What's the alternative? I go back to email, send a LinkedIn message, right? Wait for the next availability to make a phone call outbound. This is cutting edge stuff because you're no longer doing what 99% of the people are doing out there. 99.9. Like, who spends the fucking time to put together a video like that? Are you crazy? Right? And so most of the time, a common reaction is if somebody is yelling my name in a video and I happen to open up that video, I'm going to be like, first of all, I'm going to be surprised. And number 2, even if I don't respond, I will remember who that person is. Because holy shit, this guy, Rich, was talking about closing. He sent me a video. You can always go back to that, right? Okay, Bogdan's got a good message before we go through the rest of the anatomy here. How do you make them watch it? Okay, let me hold off on that because we got some notes on how to do that at the very end here. Is that okay, Bogdan? Okay, we're going to do who's this message for? We just talked about that. It's for everybody. Deep dive with some really nice visuals. Any kind of objection that you have for your company that you can think of, it's price, if it's location, if it's, service level, whatever it may be, address those up front. Because if you're doing a sales pitch, the last thing you want to do is to have your prospect walk away still fearing, still allowing the fear to overtake their action, their ability to take action, right? So go ahead and object those things that they're afraid of right there. Okay, so can anybody name one objection that I and Raphael and Adam would be addressing, or what you saw in the video? What do we address in terms of objections?
The possible objection, you did it very casually in a way where you said, hey, if somebody is not performing at the usual rate, we can swap them out. Because most people ask, okay, what if somebody doesn't do what he's supposed to do?
Yep, that's one. Awesome. Thank you, Adam. What else? Who else noticed? Low performing closers, that was it, Aaron. Matching, okay, good. Bobby. Oh, Shang says I achieved or addressed the objection of, is this company legit? Training time. Yep. Kelly, you got it. Yeah. So these are the things that we got to address up front, because you only have the 3 minutes in there, or 4 minutes. If you want to make a 4 or 5 minute video, like you only have those few minutes, you might as well tell them, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. We got you covered. And we see this all the time. We know that you might be concerned about this, but you know what? It's not even an issue for us because of this. Okay. Number 7, and finally, recap, state your intention. Why are you why have you brought this message to me? Why are you so excited about this? I need to know as the recipient. Like, what do you want? You want me to book a call with the excitement that you just provided? Like, what do you want me to do? What's the intention? Okay. State that at the end. Yep, there's some qualification going on in there. All right. How many of you guys would be okay with if we just stepped through a similar script and a similar framework, sentence by sentence, to show you what the psychology of that you just watched? You guys okay with that? You guys got time for that? I don't know. These guys look kind of excited. Okay, let's do that. All right, let's go into the formula. All right, so you guys will get a copy of this in Kajabi. Take notes if you want to. Start using it tomorrow if you want to. Today if you want to. But here's another version that's written for copywriters, not closers. And I'll take you through. It's the same exact mindset, and it's also the same exact structure. Okay, so the first thing is we start off on their website or one of their other pages, social media. Why do we do that? Why do we start out on their website, not on our website? Somebody tell me. Yes, it is about them. Yes, it's personal. Yeah, nobody cares who the fuck we are. Who said that? Daniel. Nobody cares. Like, you just another freaking video showing off your stuff. Like, it's not about you. It's about them. Right? Chusia says it's about them. Diego said, exactly. How do you get them to open? Well, you got to show them something they recognize. They don't recognize you at all. Then you start out by addressing one of the biggest objections, which is, I don't know who the fuck you are, right? So you just say that, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you. You don't know me. Okay, here's my name, and here's what I want to do. Right there out of the gate. How long does it take to state and overcome that objection of somebody who's unfamiliar, and to state the actual intention there? It's literally seconds. Seconds. And remember who we're dealing with here. We're talking B2B. We're not talking B2C anymore. What gem type are we typically dealing with on a B2B level? This is stereotypical, obviously, but Yeah, a little bit more Ruby, a little bit more impatience, like get to the point, right? So we want to open and be quick about, you don't know me, my name's Rich, I want to help your company just make more money. Like that's all I want to do. That I'm straight up. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so you get that out of the way. You kind of cater to the Ruby side. They're just wondering what the hell are you doing on their website, right? So you answer that. And then you expand. Point number 4, we're going to address that. This is how we actually do it. Okay, we start out, I work with Dan. We help companies just like yours create more revenue, right? With copywriters.com in this case. And we do it, how do we do it? We do it by plugging your company in with our copywriting network. And we show the visual for that. And we show the validation. If it's maybe just a glimpse of a testimonial or a glimpse of parts of the inner workings, right? That's how we plug them in. All right. We talked about who the message is for, guys? To be clear, this video is valuable for anyone in the company to watch, decision makers just like yourself, executives, marketers, the managers, everyone can get value from this video because from what we understand, you got a great team and everybody wants to be a part of this team's success. Right? So does this mean that this video is exciting to the person who's trying to deliver it, or it's something that's just like bottled up just for the CEO, bottled up just for the business owner? It's exciting. Jesus, I want everybody to know. Yeah, tell everybody. This is great stuff. Tell everybody. This is for everybody, right? And you get that out. Another thing I got to mention is you have to have conviction. How many of you guys here are actually good at brainwashing yourself right before you have to deliver a message? I won't say brain. Maybe I should use, Adam, should I say hypnotize yourself, self-hypnosis?
Oh yeah, that works very well.
I'm starting to get good at that. Yeah, because you got to be in the zone, right? Sometimes we call it the zone. And when you deliver that message, you have to have the most authentic conviction. Those are 2 key words. I want you to write that down because authentic and then conviction has to be there. It's got to be true. You have to believe it at your core, and you have to show that you're true to this, right? You're true to this message. You're not just saying it to be a salesperson. You're not just saying it to make the sale. And by the way, can they tell if you're not 100 or 1000% confident in your message? Can they tell? Oh yeah. They can tell right away. Even my last message, there are parts in there I'm just kind of a little nervous, right? No conviction in those points. So you have to be 100% convicted, as we like to say, convicted like a criminal. And you have to believe in your message 100%. I cannot say that enough because what happened in the very beginning, I don't know if Adam, you got the feedback, but we used to post into Telegram our draft videos. Raphael can attest to this. Actually, I remember Raphael and I would post our videos, and then Jeremy would come back in the chat group. You know what Jeremy would say?
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Like, this sounds robotic. This sounds scripted. He was destroying us.
You sound like you had spent, just imagine this, guys, okay? You just spent freaking 5 hours of your time researching, doing 100 takes of the video message, doing 100 takes of the screen share, right? And you post it in Telegram, and then your coach, right? In this case, is Jeremy. He comes back and he's like, it sucks.
Yeah, and I think like, what did I do the last 100 hours?
Yeah, Raphael says laughable. It's like, okay, and this is why when you're going through a process of learning, don't wait until the final stage to get feedback, right? We talk about, if you guys ever get a chance to go out to YouTube or some of these places that train for leadership, there's a really fun exercise called I think it's called the Marshmallow Challenge. And it's basically a game that they put executives through to prototype, to learn about the benefits of prototyping. The same thing goes for this video process. Is if you're just starting out, hey, make a draft video and get somebody to take a look at it, right? You need that feedback. Don't try to perfect it on one go. Make half of it and say, hey, Adam, what do you think? I've been working on this for a little while, but what do you think? It's not the whole thing, but what do you think? Right? That's called prototyping. It doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning, but you need that feedback. And boy, did we get our share of feedback. Right, Raf? Yeah. So second part is what we're going to transition to show them exactly how this is going to work. But more importantly, the how. We talk about this at closing. Nobody cares about the how. Really what they care about is the outcome. Sometimes we call it benefits, but what's the outcome? Okay. Visuals are important. Everything that you're saying should be animated and paired with those visuals, right? And then there's, in many cases, when you structure your own formula, you want to include the social proof, which is testimonials. In this case, we say, hey, we've trained thousands of certified people and we plug them straight into the company. The companies are getting more revenue in the door each month. We got the proof here. We show the testimonial page and they're like, oh shit, that's a lot of testimonials, right? In the back of their mind, they're saying, shit, that's a lot of testimonials. All right, here we go. Now, this is part of the how again. We say, hey, some of the ways we do this are by leveraging our copywriters or closers to do this for all the channels, all the landing pages. In the case of closers, we'll be doing it for closing those deals, right? In copywriters, it's for landing pages, emails, chat bots, and organic copy. We also say another benefit here. In this case, it's taking the load off of your current marketing team, right? Which means a marketing team, instead of doing all this writing, they can free up their time, focus more on revenue-driven activities, because that copy usually takes a long time, but we do it really well. So we're saying, hey, it takes a long time, so the marketers can actually get back their attention and focus on the important stuff, right? So again, another bullet on benefits. And then the second to last bullet here, we are able to do this without bugging you or slowing down your operations. Okay, what am I addressing there? An objection, right? So one objection from these business owners, like, shit, if I work with you guys are just going to keep asking me questions and I still won't be able to get my shit done because you're external, right? You're just going to slow me down because you're external. That is a valid concern. Agree? Okay, and then the last bullet again, training is an objection we also address as well. Here's the last third of it. So I go in and I say, and this is for copywriters. So our copywriters are focused on your marketing goals, and we're really skilled at converting at a high opt-in and high closing rates with everything that we're trained to do. So long story short, and you'll hear if you guys have ever worked with Jeremy, that's his big phrase, long story short. Long story short, this is for the Rubies. Long story short, as long as you need highly skilled and accountable copywriters to help your marketing team with driving revenue, we're here to help. Okay, and then finally you end with intention. Our intention of making this video is to get on a call together, help your company make more revenue with our copywriters. So if you're interested, here's my contact information down below. And then we cap it off by making it sound exclusive, just like somebody mentioned earlier. Right? We're not sending this. This is not a mass mail out. This is definitely not a mass mail out, right? So we don't send this to just any random company. Again, we're convicted that this will help you based on what we've been able to research and we're super excited about this opportunity. So talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. What do you guys think? Is that pretty decent framework for a video? I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now you guys understand some of the mindset behind this. So I just went through the entire script. This is a 4-minute script. Okay, pretty much everything's built in here. You can copy and paste it. I would recommend that you do not use it word for word. When you guys are able to download this and study it some more, I would definitely recommend you can follow a general framework, but the wording of it has to be in your voice. Okay, because you have to, again, authentic conviction, authentic confidence in the message, right? If you're speaking like Jeremy, it just may not come out right. I think Raphael knows what I'm talking about for that. I certainly know. So you'll see, I wrote this. So those of you who are in high income copywriter, writing this over and over again, you realize, hey, this is not the way I talk. I don't talk that way, right? So even as I'm reading the bullets out to you guys, you can see I change it up as more my style, my cadence. Yeah, Adam says, try to say it as if you would explain it to your best buddy. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, you'll be surprised. Your first run through this, even if you do a script reading with no video, just audio, you'll be able to hear the amount of conviction. You'll be able to hear the amount of authentic caring side. Like, I care about your company. Like, you'll be able to hear that kind of thing going on in your voice. And if you can't hear it, or if you think you can hear it, but you're not sure, what should you do? Adam says he sounded like a voice assistant. Yeah, get feedback, prototype it. Don't build the entire video and think that, oh shit, I'd finished one project and now I can finally present it to somebody for feedback. Like, that might be too late. That's all I'm saying. It just might be too late. So you want to do it maybe in pieces, work with a team member, work with somebody you can hold accountable to, somebody here in UHTC. You can, try it together, right? All right. Note on channels. Bogdan, you asked about this. This is the cardinal rule for getting responses. Don't just send it to LinkedIn. Send it to all the channels. Send it to all the channels. And why is that so important? Is everybody a LinkedIn user? Niet. No. Yes. Well, maybe in some cases. I'm catching up with I've got a delay here, but people use different channels of communication during different times and also with different frequencies. So let's suppose that you send something. A lot of people are on Facebook, but let's say you have an executive or you have a business owner that literally doesn't check Facebook until the weekend, and you just finished your video on Monday. What does that mean about your video? Shit, you got to wait until the weekend before he sees it. Right? It's too late. That's right. For every freaking 2-hour window, every freaking hour is time that you could have started that dialogue. So your ideal situation is you use all of these. We call it the blanket approach. You guys are saying the net. That's perfect. The cut and paste, where you're posting at multiple social networks, so you get the widest reach. And you're doing that because you don't want to leave one stone unturned. That is what a ultra high ticket closer does. You're not going to leave one stone unturned. You don't have time. You got big goals to reach. Why would you You just created a video with 5 hours of your precious time. Like, why would you just only send it via email? Right? It makes no sense. So sometimes we'll DM them, right? We'll let them know, hey, I just been following you for quite some time. I don't know if you know this, but I just sent you something. And then you could post it there on the message, or you could actually have it as a separate email as well. Let me check the chat here. We got any good questions here coming in, comments, Dana?
I was still muted. There's a question from Renu. Should we not send on one platform before sending on another? One to avoid coming across as spammy, just in case prospect ends up checking our message on more than one platform.
I love that question. That's a good question. What do you guys think? Grant, my man.
Omnipresence.
Yeah. Still need to do it. Yeah. So think about it this way. If let's turn it around. Okay. Right now we're talking about sales. We're talking about offering somebody that will help them, offering a company a solution, right? That's what we're talking about here. But imagine you had something so important that was life or death situation, and you had to get a hold of this person to let them know. That's what we're talking about here. This is you are so confident that if they don't take action on this within the next day, that their business would just be missing out big time. Like, that's how convicted you are. And that because you have that conviction, and also because you have the hunger, right? And the optimism that he's going to open it, you're going to actually do it for all those channels because it was that important. I wouldn't say, I mean, you could say, oh, you're spamming them. Yeah. I mean, that's one way to look at it. But the other way to look at it is, shit, I've got something important. I need him or her to actually be able to read it in time. Otherwise they're going to fail, right? It's that important. Every single video that you produce you should believe, and you should have the conviction and self-hypnosis, whatever it is, you need to believe that it's that important that they get it. That's the way I feel.
Okay, here was another question from Christian. Can you talk about the psychology of actually caring? How do you get there? I care about my income. I care about people as individuals, but there are so many companies out there. Caring about someone else's business or passion is a stretch for me.
Who is that from?
This is from Christian.
Christian, okay.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah, Adam, go ahead. I'm just reading through the message again.
Thank you. So Christian, respecting that, I put it in chat too. But if the way you ask those questions, that sees and shows that you are thinking about yourself here. The psychology of caring is completely detached from you. If you care about your income, that's great. But caring about someone else doesn't have to do with your own preferences. Yes, you will do the same script, the same video 100 times, but it's not about the script. This is just the method, the tool to convey the idea. It doesn't matter. Like, would you say the same if you have 100 prospect calls? Do you not care about them anymore after a while? Every person is different. And so therefore, it is very important to analyze and understand the core. Every business owner created their company and their business out of love, out of a drive. They sacrificed time, they sacrificed loved ones, they sacrificed money and effort, blood, sweat, and tears. They have been sitting on the floor crying because nothing worked out. They were confused, they were desperate, and then they created something and it finally grew. And you are the one going there, being able to give them the next step they didn't even know they could use. Remember what happens when you are the one person that reaches out and help them with the service to grow their company to such immense measurements that they think back 10, 20, 30 years in the in the future, they think back and say, damn, because that Christian guy reached out to me and helped me, my company is that multi-million-dollar empire now. It was a small business before. Imagine they get interviewed. They became a billionaire with this maybe. And they get interviewed. What happened? And there's like, well, 30 years ago, that one guy was so persistent. And I felt he was caring. At first, I ignored him at the company. I was like, why did I send me a video? But he was persistent in a non-salesy way. It was like not sleazy. Never saw that before. And I listened to him. He convinced me. And boom, my company just grew. Don't you want to be a part of that? And now imagine if this happens multiple times. Imagine if that happens 100 times a day. Imagine when that happens every day. And then imagine speaking with the people. You are part of the sales team. Imagine that person becomes part of our community. So you're not talking to a prospect. You're not talking to a business owner. You're talking to a future brother, a future sister. You're talking to a company, a multi-million, even $1 billion company in the making. And therefore, I want you to call them as if you would be a time traveler from the future. You know that that company is already a multi-million-dollar company, and you know you were the one who helped them, and you traveled back in time to this specific point because you know this is the part where you change history of mankind, because you have even more impact than that. Imagine when the company grows to a multi-million-dollar company, how many jobs get created, how many lives get saved. Now in Corona times, we have the problem that people are losing their jobs. If you help them grow, people keep their jobs, families get saved, children get saved, futures get saved. Imagine what kind of impact you have there. And now ask again how you care about people. Think about purpose, and you will ignite a passion beyond belief.
Amazing. So that's very, very powerful message there, Adam. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. One other thing too, if I might add, is to address kind of the objection that's inherent in that message, Christian, which I think, and this is my interpretation, is that 1 + 1 always equals 2. Which I don't. My personal belief is I don't believe 1 + 1 always equals 2. I think that 1 + 1 sometimes can equal so much more. Which means, to me, that means like, yes, I care about my family. I care about individuals around me. But my love and my care is not bound by time. There are ways, and this is, again, I think this goes back to our psychology as closers, as ultra high ticket closers too, is we're not thinking in terms of 1 + 1 anymore. We're thinking in terms of 1 × 5, 1 × 10, right? So yeah, there are limited hours in the day, but because we have the ability to develop this power, we'll call it skill and power for now, we have that ability. The 24 hours that we have actually becomes multiplied. And it's not multiplied instantly, but over time, you'll find that, hey, and Stephen Covey talks about it in his book. You guys may recognize that name, but The 7 Habits is your circle of influence. You guys remember that? Circle of influence starts out small, right? I can only help the people around me today. That's okay. That's perfectly okay. But as you grow in influence and power and the things that you are able to exert influence and control over, that circle gets bigger. You won't even realize it, but you'll already start impacting the neighborhood, right? Outside your house, you'll start impacting the city, the companies in your neighborhood. Yeah, there's a ripple effect. Thank you for sharing that, Adam, and also thank you, Christian, for bringing that to our attention, which I think is a common mindset, and it's also something that we have to be extremely aware of. Is the where do we see the limits of our abilities? Okay, just scanning through questions here. Donna, if
Yes, there was another question from Michael. Rich, I may have missed this in your slides. However, I remember one specific thing that Jeremy teaches is to give them a piece of value in the video. Give them some small thing they could implement right away. Is this covered here?
it's not covered today, it is covered. Well, I should say it is a general principle that we tend to utilize. And if you look back to, I guess right now, the video script and also the anatomy right now is more focused on bringing news to light. It's almost like, oh, I have good news. I've spoken to somebody, in your company already, and this is something I really want to help you with, right? If you want to find out more than context. So it is not an internal, it's not a initial value add, but certainly we have had modifications. I've seen Raphael do it too. Adam probably does it, is you can also attach stuff to that. So I think you could say, I've included some email templates that are crafted just for your company in these situations. I want you to go ahead and take a look at those. If they can help your sales team, go ahead and use those, right? And there's an example of your value add. It's so powerful, and it's such a great question too, because Sifu, by nature of having, his business experience, some of the very early successes were based off of free work, right? Let me go ahead and rewrite your entire website landing page, give it to you for free. And then all of a sudden he has the business of the entire agency, right? These are the types of things. Like, yes, it is part of what Jeremy taught us, but it's not covered in this presentation, but it should be part of your mindset, which is to always try to offer something of value first. So good question.
Here's another question from Garrett. How deeply do you research their personal life, and how do you integrate it into the video message?
That's a good question. Why don't let's unmute and see if we can elaborate on that question. We'll hear from him directly.
Okay.
That's okay.
Garrett has his hand up. You can mute yourself, Garrett.
Hello.
Hey, Garrett.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Enjoying the lessons. So when you're doing your research, obviously you're doing a lot of research on the company, but you address this to a particular person. And are you looking towards their gem type as well when you're doing this? You have to know something about them as an individual when you're doing that, I'm assuming. So.
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, this is something that Adam and I have explored as well. There are tools out there, and even if you don't use those tools, you can pretty much take a look at somebody's resume and start over time. You'll be able to guess kind of the gem, make some assumptions, obviously, but you can essentially slot them into different categories for sure. To give you an example, you'll have VPs and CEOs with engineering background. So what does that tell you about the person?
Emeralds.
A little bit more emerald, a little bit more detail oriented. They may come back with you, faster on questions revolving around quantities and price and things like that, right? So we can make those assumptions. They're definitely not they're broad assumptions, right? So it just depends. We do that, I think, naturally, right? Even after coming out of HTC, we start stereotyping people based off of just tiny little cues, for sure.
Yeah. So is that a focus of your research, though, as you're preparing to address them?
Yes, it is. So the tool that I was going to refer to, Adam, do you remember the tool that's, I think it started with Crystal? We'll have to look it up.
Crystal Knows. It's
Crystal
a
Knows, yes.
It's a LinkedIn tool. It's so damn powerful.
It's good.
It's really, I use it for everybody that I research. It's just so good.
Yeah. So the tool's name is Crystal Knows. There's a bunch of other ones out there, I'm sure, that do similar things. But when you have that tool, then of course you can craft the message a little bit better from a scripting perspective, right? So it definitely helps for sure.
So what kind of tool is that?
It is a tool that essentially analyzes resumes or resume-like information online, and also, you know, I don't know how deep it gets into postings and things like that on LinkedIn, but it'll summarize what type of person that person is based off of that information.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you.
It can even analyze messages. You can put that in, and
Yeah.
I tested it a little bit. It also researches your connections. I tested it because my fiance Lisa, she had a LinkedIn profile but no posts and about a few connections that had a lot of connections themselves, and it gave a perfect, like a really to the T, perfect analysis of her personality, despite her having no content on her profile and only 19 connections. So therefore, you can use it for many things. And also it's very useful. Some influencers have people that write for them. Now here's the thing, you can copy text and put it into Crystal Knows, and then it will tell you the personality type. So when you use different text on their website and something you know for a fact, some things they posted themselves, you put it in and you see this is a different personality type, then you know they have a writer for them, which is extremely useful for you to know if you want to close for copywriters, for example, or you want to understand who you are writing for. Because if all the posts of one profile fit one personality type, you know exactly, okay, there's somebody else that writes it, and you want to engage that person and build a relationship to them because they probably have a lot of influence there. So that's my tactic for this.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that, because I mean, if not everybody's going to subscribe to these, so you just need to get in the habit of looking up some of these cues. I like what the Sarge is actually commenting here in the chat for some of the questions, which is really good. The Sarge says he actually comes in to some of these engagements, even the script writing. He may start out neutral, but as soon as he finds out some additional information comes into the call, for example, he'll switch immediately to accommodate some of the tonalities and things like that if it's a live call. But yeah, of course, the broad assumptions have to be made based off of resumes. I would definitely look at kind of the background. I think it's natural for those of you guys who aren't who don't have the habit of LinkedIn's what do we call it? Stalking. I hate to use the word stalking, but usually before I get onto a call with any we're in the process of looking at vendors, for example. Every time before I get on a call, always doing the research on LinkedIn, looking at somebody's resume. Where are they from? Where do they live? What was their education? Were they, engineer? Were they, a lawyer? Whatever they may be, as a default. Sarge is scarier than Crystal Knows. Godfred, I would have to agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So Sarge definitely has one of the very rare personalities that is extremely aware and sensitive to personality types and scenarios and situations where he is he's almost got a Sarge. Would you say you have like a spidey sense? Oh, what do they call that? Spidey tingle. Yeah. Let me move on here. I just want a quick mention of subject lines too, as you guys are reaching out to people. Jeremy has said that some of this like lowercase, less formal, we think about when we write copy, we do, what do they call it? A capital case, where every word is capitalized. In the case of the subject line, what Jeremy has seen and what we've seen as well is if we keep it very, very general and not capitalized, almost casual, it's almost like a friend wrote to you without putting too much thought into it, you get a higher open rate just from doing that. So for example, following up would be the subject line, or made this for you, right? And even the third one, Jeremy's telling me that I personally haven't used it, but using their name in the subject line plus whatever the compelling copy is behind that also can be very effective. It has to be tested though overall. So you guys still have to do your testing for sure. Yeah. All right.